New Jersey schools are in trouble, and it's hitting our local towns harder than you might think. From state budget cuts to loss of federal funding, public school districts in Monmouth and Ocean County are facing some difficult decisions between rising class sizes, budget cuts themselves, and layoffs. So on today's video, we're going to dive deep into it and really explain what's going on. Before we get started, if it is your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a local realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you'll be the first one to know what's going on in your Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. Let's just kick it off right at the top and get into it from the federal government. So recently, the federal government pulled back $85 million in pandemic-era education aid that was meant for 20 different school districts here in New Jersey. A couple different examples would be Elizabeth, Trenton, Newark, usually some underfunded areas that we have here in just New Jersey in general or in their school districts. It was meant to help rebuild and repair the infrastructure. So think like your big ticket items, the HVAC or just classroom renovation, stuff that's going to cost a pretty penny to repair. The governor of New Jersey is obviously not happy about this and called it reckless and irresponsible on the federal level. But why did they pull the money back in general? The U.S. Department of Education is arguing that New Jersey missed its deadline. This is to at least formally submit a bid or just submit how they were going to spend the rest of the $85 million in question. That was due on September 30th of 2024, and it was supposed to be finalized in January of 25. So we've missed the deadline, essentially. New Jersey argues, and the governor argues, that they had a plan. It was just bureaucratic red tape that held it up, but the Fed already allocated the other $85 million to other states, so the money's not even there anymore. What's kind of the outcome of this? Well, either projects that were planned are either going to be canceled or at the very best delayed. Then they're not going to have enough budget. You're going to have to pull money from other parts of the budget for these school districts in order to cover these repairs. So realistically, it kind of leaves everything in limbo. And as we get to the state funding in just a second, that's kind of a little sketchy area too right now. Now let's get into the state funding issues that we have here for New Jersey. Well, the 2025 budget came out and about 130 school districts, mostly suburban, are going to be losing state aid or a good portion of it. This policy called S2 has a school funding formula, and essentially if they think a school is being overfunded or they're not taxing the citizens enough, they can get damaged because of that. Depends on school enrollment, so a couple different factors in general. But townships like Middletown, that's in Monmouth County, you're going to have Ocean County like Brick, Toms River, Jackson's getting hit pretty hard right now. They're all losing money. And obviously with the rising cost of inflation, teachers' salaries, utilities, just whatever it takes to run a school, that's going up. And then you're going to have a decline in state funding and also federal level. It kind of puts a really big pinch on these school districts. And how are these school districts supposed to combat these deficits? They're not going to be run for profit. That's not how this works. But essentially, you have Jackson and Middletown. They've been thinking about closing schools or have done so already and are trying to sell off buildings in order to cover their deficit. Toms River is looking at a $22 million negative, and that's not going to be easy to overcome by any means. They've actually opened up a lawsuit against the New Jersey Department of Education as well in order to help fund this, but there's a lot of different moving parts going on right now. Obviously, you're going to have to talk about layoffs, maybe just closing down some activities or sports, maybe school busing. If you live within a certain distance, you don't get it anymore. There's going to have a lot of potential things to be able to cut costs, but you can only do so much and still keep these schools running and operable. Another thing on the real estate side of things, but the way I'm looking at it, is maybe some of my clients, especially buying from out of state, when they're moving to New Jersey, they might start looking at which school systems are basically the most stable at this point and aren't really being affected by these budget cuts and that's going to draw people to certain locations versus others now, and that could play a whole host of different topics too. And if you live in one of these districts, what can you really be doing to help maybe fight whatever is going on? Well, first off, definitely attend your next school board meeting. That's going to be probably priority number one, I would think, and really make your voice be heard. You can talk to different local representatives that you have that are part of your township or in your district. Those are a couple different options right there. Realistically, these decisions help shape the future of what our school is going to be, and it's very important to maintain these standards. Now, the other thing I would say is maybe the New Jersey State Department of Education has to look at the school funding formula that they currently have and why it's not really working for a lot. The money that these townships are losing isn't just disappearing, it's going towards other townships, like we mentioned earlier in the video with maybe Trenton, Camden, and helping out with their budget deficits over there. So it's a hard aspect, I guess, or a hard concept of who's going to get the money and how it's supposed to be divvied up. And it's obviously one formula is not going to solve anything. It really is a little bit of on a case-by-case basis. I know with Jackson right now, what they're going through is everything we talked about. But on top of that, they have an increase or a rising population in the private school sector over there. So, and then the way the funding formula is set up now is the public school district has to fund the transportation for the private schools. And that's another budget deficit that they're facing. So there's a lot of different things I think the state of New Jersey should be looking at. And it's not really a one size fits all kind of solution, but in aspect, I think this funding formula probably has to get changed. If you're someone that lives in one of the school districts we talked about, I'd love to get your feedback on what you think are possible solutions, either at the local, state, or federal level. And if you're a homeowner that's maybe possibly worried about their property value after seeing this video, or you're thinking about buying in a new school district, these things do matter for everybody and their residents. So if you want, I offer free, no pressure home evaluations for all of our local residents here in the area. All my contact information is down low in the comments and description. So whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, maybe even a year out, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. If you're looking to move to maybe a different part of the Central Jersey area, check out 2 videos popping up then. Hopefully help out a bit too. Have a great day.